it's always been my thought that you'd be a better designer if you design for your company's manufacturing strengths and avoid their weaknesses. So I think that's kind of what set me apart. I don't know who else was nominated, but that's my theory on the longevity of my career.
Welcome to another MMT Chat. I'm Christina Fuges with MoldMaking Technology, and today I'm here with the SPE Mold Technologies Division Mold Designer of the Year for 2024, Keith LeSage of Westminster Tool in Plainfield, Connecticut. Hi, Keith.
Hello.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You're like beaming, so I have to ask you, how does it make you feel that you were nominated and that you actually got it?
Yeah, like I had mentioned before, it's a true honor. The more I thought about it, the more I researched it, I realized that it is a huge deal, and really honored about it. Me personally, I'm not a personal kind of award guy. I'm more of a team player where, okay, let's celebrate as a team and let's get our asses back to work in the same sentence.
Yep.
And so let's just get right back at it. And but I am truly honored. The more I think about it, and just being here, and people congratulating me it is pretty cool.
Feels good, right?
Yeah, it does.
So what do you think set you apart from other nominees or other people that have gotten in the past? It's a personal question, but you gotta think about that. What do you think sets you apart?
The 37 years I've been in the industry, I've been extremely fortunate to be surrounded by some very talented people. The owner of the company, Ray Coombs especially, him and I have been attached at the hip since we've been 18 years old. And he is truly almost basically what I owe him everything for that. Another thing that I believe set me apart is I've never been afraid to go to my internal customer, my shop floor, and ask them their opinions of, hey, how would you set up this for grinding? And, just constantly learning throughout my career, just bouncing ideas off of your internal customer, because essentially that's who you're designing for.
Yep.
And so it's always been my thought that you'd be a better designer if you design for your company's manufacturing strengths and avoid their weaknesses. So I think that's kind of what set me apart. I don't know who else was nominated, but that's my theory on the longevity of my career and the success of my career, is because I've always had forethought of, the shop floor and my internal and external customer.
It's not working in silos, which can be so typical in the shop environment, right?
Exactly.
So that's a culture thing.
Yes, it is a culture thing, and anybody that comes to our shop that is interested in mold design, that is the first thing that I tell them. I was just like, yes, number one, you have to be able to be, sitting idle for a long period of time. You've got to be very concentrated, but don't forget who you're designing for. Anybody can design. Designing is easy. It's designing to make everybody's life downstream from you easier is what sets you apart from.
It starts with you, right?
It starts, it does, because I get a 3D model and a part print from a customer, and I start with a blank screen. And I get three things: a part model, a 2D part print, and a mold spec sheet.
And they let you loose.
Let me loose. And at the end of it, 3-4 weeks, however long the design takes, you feel a sense of pride because, I started this from scratch. Yeah. And that's what I tried to instill in the younger generation coming up to be a good designer. You got to, put your own style or what you think a design should look like, and, kind of ask, what do you think? You got to ask your internal customer.
Collaborative.
Yeah. You just can't be, like you said, be in a silo and say, okay, I'm going to design it this way. I don't give a crap what this person thinks or that person thinks. This is my idea.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's not the case.
It's not. So over this 36 years, you said?
Yes.
In mold design specifically, what's been the biggest change?
The biggest change from when I started when we were still drawing on the drafting boards.
Okay.
And so...
No way!
Yeah,
You don't look that old!
And and I always tell the story to all the younger generation. How the hell did you design molds on a drafting board?
Yeah.
So I'd go into it and everything like that. And so that's one of the parts of it. Another part is, back in the day, you learn by almost like a hazing.
Yeah. Yes.
You would do something like, perfect example, if I could tell a little story. When I first started the trade, I figured I'm going to get cute with putting these water lines in this mold base. I'm going to put them in on an angle. All right. So I put them in on an angle. They said, okay, Keith, we're going to put it on an angle. Okay. That's what you want to do? Great.
Are you sure?
Yep. And so, sure enough, soon after I put the job on the shop floor, a tool maker grabs me and says, Keith, what are you doing? I said, I'm just designing this. Hey, come with me. So he says, I said, what's up? He says, we're going to drill some water lines today. I'm like, great. I love being on the shop floor. He says, you know those angled water lines you put in? We're going to do them. I'm like, okay. How hard can it be? 3 hours later, because it was all Bridgeports back then.
Oh my gosh.
And 3 hours later, he's got this exotic setup to put this one water line in.
Yeah.
And there was 4 of them in there. And he says, all right, I'm going to show you how to do one. He said, you're doing the other 3.
Yeah. See you later.
Guess what? I put in the other 3, and that's the last time I put an angled water line in the tool. So, I mean,
You'll never forget.
Yeah, I kind of use those stories too as like a training story, because me training is it was really difficult, and so I use stories like that to kind of go over with the younger generation. I'm like, okay, this is what happened to me when I tried this.
Yeah. And it's okay.
Yeah.
That's how you learn.
Yeah, exactly.
So now you're taking on you're more like project management and not just strictly mold design, right?
Yeah.
So why did you make that transition? Was it a necessity? Was there interest there?
A little bit of both. For me, it was easier to become more customer facing and kind of skip the project management when I was designing, so I could get intimate with the customer as far as his needs or her needs. So I'd get my information a lot faster, and it wasn't secondhand. And so, basically, I'm giving the customer exactly what they want in real time, not having to wait for a project manager to get on the phone with a list of questions. And so now...
So it's allowing you to get the bigger picture on a project, right, than just the design.
Yes. And it allowed me to, appreciate my customer needs more than just what was on a mold spec sheet. Because on a mold spec sheet, you can only put so much stuff on a mold spec sheet.
Yeah.
And I've been kind of doing that my whole career at a certain level. I never had a problem picking up the phone, talking to a customer. Never had a problem with that, and so
that's actually a good skill that I would think people need to look for nowadays, because I don't see that happening a lot. You have to be comfortable, not just texting somebody or emailing them. Like, pick up the phone and go visit them. Like, build that relationship.
Yeah, that's another part of my training. Is like, I'll take somebody new and I'll hop on a phone call with a customer, a phone call, not an email. And I'll say, hey, come with me. And we'll go to a conference room or at my desk where it's quiet. And, I'll give the, whoever's with me, I'll say, okay, I'm calling this customer to discuss this problem, and this is how it's going to go. And so talk to the customer and, with the designer with me, and so they know, he or she knows that, okay, this is how you present a problem to a customer, this is how you talk to a customer, and you just keep everything professional and in light. There's no need to start fires if there's a fire doesn't need to be started.
Exactly.
And so to me, that's another training tool I use. Is, okay, I've been doing this for a while, I've talked to a lot of different customers, I've messed up a lot of jobs, and I'm going to give you, this is the approach I take to, number one, admit my problems, or admit my mistakes, or to come up with a solution to a problem that we're having. So.
There you have it. The advice from the 2024 SPE MTD Mold Designer of the Year, Keith LeSage. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.